Not quite as sunny as the other day, but it is meant to brighten up ahead of the game tomorrow. Welcome back into Brisbane. The day before the first test between the Wallabies and the Lions. I feel like loads has happened in the last few weeks. I feel like it's absolutely flown by, and I can't believe that the first test is almost here. I did a video yesterday which was reacting in particular to the Lions team news. I've got into the Wallabies a little bit, but I'll do more on that now. So we have the teams, we've got one more day to go. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're enjoying all of the content from here in Australia. Make sure you are subscribed and also like the video and comment down below on anything that I touch upon here. So come with me on my way to Suncorp. Vision access for the Lions plus Johnny Sexton, I think it is, that's up for interview, but we'll see. Yeah, come with me. So I asked this question in the video that I did yesterday. How concerned are you by that Wallabies team news? No Will Skelton, no Rob Valentini, Tom Lynagh at 10, and I just really want to see a competitive series. Now, I still hold out hope that we are going to get that because Lions tests tend to be a lot tighter than you might necessarily expect, and I think Australia still have some real weapons in that team. But I think the feeling here amongst the press pack anyway was a slightly deflated, just because Will Skelton and Rob Valentini make such a massive difference for the Wallabies, and I suppose my concern is what it does to their power game. The power they've lost in that scrum, given the fact that the Lions have named pretty much the biggest pack they possibly could. I think the Lions are going route one power and hoping that that makes room outside for Finn Russell to get the back line moving. But I think ultimately their game plan is going to be based in the power of the forwards. Without Will Skelton, without Valentini, how big a loss is that for Australia? Will they be able to compete with the Lions physically up front? That's my big question. I hope that all the talk this week of the Lions saying they want to win 3-0, which by the way I've got no problem with. I mean, they're obviously not here to win 2-1 and lose a test, are they? That's their aim. They want to win every single game. But all that talk, the Lions being heavy favourites, the Aussies being written off a little bit, I just hope it sparks something in the Aussie psyche. They've stuck it up all over the dressing room wall, and it's just, they're just going to take themselves to a different place. Do you remember almost like the World Cup in 23, semi-final, England against South Africa? No one really gave England much of a chance, and they end up losing by just a point. And they executed their game plan brilliantly. They took themselves somewhere physically that I don't think we'd seen them do for a long time. I feel like that's what it's going to take for the Wallabies here, and I really hope they're able to produce that. Lions series do funny things to people. Heroes are made in these series, and I think the Wallabies need a couple of heroes because, without question, Joe Schmidt was on good form in his presser yesterday, but that is just not ideal. It's not ideal to lose Skelton or Valentini. And speaking of the chance to be a hero, I want to chat a bit more about Tom Lynagh. What an incredible opportunity for him. Young guy. He's had a really good Super Rugby season. He knows Suncorp pretty well as he plays for the Reds. But that is pressure, isn't it? At 10, you know, Noah Lolesio, I think it was 10 of the last 11 tests or 10 of the 11 tests last year. He started at 10 for the Wallabies. That was clearly the plan, to have him as your fly half. He gets injured and Tom Lynagh comes in. Ben Donaldson is on the bench. James O'Connor isn't involved despite the experience that he would have brought. But I suppose, look, he hadn't been training with them, had he? He'd been with the Crusaders, so perhaps not a huge shock. I'm so excited for Tom Lynagh. I hope he absolutely grabs that opportunity and just looks a man born out there. But undeniably, it's a huge selection, and undeniably, it's potentially a huge problem for Australia. I hope not, but this is Lions test matches. The heat is on. And actually, the fly half position has been an issue for the Wallabies for what? Going back to Larkham, I mean, Quade Cooper had a period where he was in incredible form, but you never felt he quite made the 10 jersey for Australia his own. They haven't had a top class international 10, I think, for a long time. Is Tom Lynagh the next guy? This is a hell of a furnace to try and find out in a Lions series. I hope he has an absolute blinder, but if you're the Lions and you're looking at that team sheet, you'd take a relatively rookie. I know he's not a total rookie here, but he doesn't have too many caps. You would absolutely take that for your opposition fly half. And I think Tom Curry in particular, but that forward pack, are going to be aiming to put so much pressure on him. How is he going to be able to deal with it? Big question. And I think the answer to that question will tell us an awful lot about how this test match unfolds. Right, final thought on the Wallabies. How can they hurt the Lions? I've looked at the possible negatives and the players missing in their team selection or the inexperience in an important position, but let's not kid ourselves. This Australia team has weapons, and they have enough weapons, I think, to cause the Lions problems. I suppose the big question really is, have they got enough to put the Lions under enough pressure consistently? Are they going to be able to score enough points? And I think there's two areas for me that they could have a lot of success in, and it's the two areas that I've been speaking about and I think have been evident to all of us since that Lions game against Argentina in Dublin. The aerial game and on the floor. The Lions have had problems on the floor all tour. They were better in Adelaide, although the opposition wasn't particularly strong. The Wallabies back row usually can be very, very effective in that area. Can they slow the Lions' ball down? Can they cause them problems? Can they turn them over? That is an area I think they'll be absolutely gunning for. And the second one is the aerial game. Joseph Suaalii caused all sorts of problems at Twickenham when England played there against Australia in November. I think actually, what I can't decide is whether the Lions have real issues in how they're dealing with the aerial game, or whether the rules have got to the point that the aerial game is now so competitive, so difficult for the back three, because you can't kind of, what they call it, like chaperone players anymore. You can't block them off. You get penalised in that area. Opposition wingers or fullbacks only have to bat the ball back, whereas if you're trying to catch it, I think it's an area of the game that's actually got really, really difficult. But I think the Lions have struggled there. With the athletes in that Australia team, can they put pressure on? Can they put the ball back in the air, bat it back, make it ugly, win turnovers, and then attack on the counter-attack, which is what Argentina did brilliantly against the Lions as well in Dublin. Those two areas for me, absolutely crucial for the Wallabies. Enough from me here. Let's get ourselves to Suncorp. And I made my way here to Suncorp. So welcome into the stadium. Let me flip this round. This is a wicked ground. I said this in the videos when we were here for the Reds game. It's pretty awesome looking. The pitch actually, I don't know if it's going to quite seem like that in the video. It looks pretty ropey. I asked Johnny Sexton about that and he said they're not too concerned. They played the game against the Reds here, so it's not too much to worry about, but it doesn't look great. And don't forget, in 2013, this is where Curtly Beale slipped at the end of the game with the match-winning penalty on his laces, and the Lions ended up winning that test match, which was also Johnny Sexton's Lions test debut here as well. So I've spoken about the Wallabies. What about the Lions? They're the heavy favourites. What are the areas of their game that are going to be absolutely key? I've spoken about the power and the approach that they've taken there. And I suppose one thing in particular is the scrum. Like, the scrum has been absolutely dominant throughout all of this tour so far. It's been such a strength. Joe Schmidt has said the Wallabies have had a good week of training scrummaging wise. I don't really know what that means or if it is going to have any bearing whatsoever on what we see tomorrow, but I think the Lions scrum has the potential to give them an unbelievable platform to really hurt Australia. Like, if the Lions are able to give themselves an attacking platform that releases Finn Russell and those backs, and Tuipulotu and Jones are linking up well in the centres, then that is absolutely something that could be a problem for the Wallabies. It's been great so far for the Lions. Can it continue to be that way? And I suppose the other thing is what I've just touched upon there, which is the Lions attacking game has been very ambitious. We have seen some very good play, some sloppy play in times where they forced it as well. So what do we see tomorrow? Does the continuity of Russell, Tuipulotu, Jones really benefit them? Or, and I think this is actually quite possible, are we going to see them absolutely just tighten everything up? Yes, we've seen loads of offloads and we've seen a quite expansive attacking game, but are we going to see a team that revert to, I guess, what you would call more stereotypical test match rugby? I know loads of you won't want to see that. You want to see a fast attacking test series, but when it's all on the line, when the pressure's on, it starts becoming about exerting pressure on the opposition. And I just feel like we're going to see the Lions do that more. I'm not saying that we're going to see almost what we did in South Africa 4 years ago, where it was just box kicking and kicks and was, let's be honest, a pretty dreadful series in terms of the standard of the rugby or how entertaining it was. I think the Lions will still want to attack to a degree, but are they going to want to do it in the same way they have in the tour games? I think probably not. I think we'll see more box kicks, I think we'll see a more tactical game, and that's where, going back to the aerial battle, it becomes even more fascinating. So I will leave it here. We will be back here tomorrow night in Suncorp for the first test of a Lions tour. Special moments these, I cannot wait for it. Sell out here, hopefully armies of Reds fans. I think this is going to be absolutely awesome. So give me your predictions for the game. Give me the areas that you think are going to be really crucial for this game to be won or lost. And I will see you here post-match tomorrow when either Australia or the Lions are going to have won the first test. Lions are the heavy favourites. Let's see if they go out there and deliver.